Okay, we're going to start the Monday, June 21st, 2021 public hearing. We're going to call the meeting to order. Do I need to have a roll call or anything? Okay. The open meeting certification. This June 21st, 2021 public hearing of the Mid-State Technical College District Board of Directors and all other meetings of the board and or its committees is open to the public in compliance with the state statutes. Notice this meeting has been sent to the news media and designated persons in an attempt to make the citizens of the Mid-State Technical College District aware of the place, time, and agenda of the meeting. This is a public hearing. Wisconsin statutes require the Mid-State Board to publish the proposed budget and to hold a public hearing prior to formal adoption of a budget. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive input from the general public. Formal budget presentation has been made to the Mid-State Board and as was accessible by the general public through the public access channel. Publication of the 2021-2022 budget summary and notice of the public hearing has occurred in accordance with the WTCS requirements as a Class 1 legal notice. A copy of the 2021 and 2022 budget booklet meeting WTS requirements is available upon request. I'd like to invite Greg Bruckbauer, Vice President of Finance and Facilities, to present the district budget.
Thank you. So today I'll be going through the public hearing portion of our FY21-22 budget. Our overall budget is made up of several funds. The fund operational budget is $31,546,525, an increase of about $209,000. This is due to wage and benefit increases for the most part. Our special revenue aidable includes our COVID funding is reduced by $1 million. COVID funding is federal grants received due to the pandemic, and we recognize those at the time of expenditure. And so we had spent $1 million last year in 21, and we do not have it budgeted for 22 yet. Our special revenue non-aidable is our financial aid, primarily made up of financial aid, as well as some COVID emergency funding for students. And that will be down $669,000, again, related to the emergency student grants. Capital projects, we're budgeting at $5,067,945, small decrease of $469,000. Debt service, which is our levy for our property taxes, is $6,723,465, a decrease of $283,909. Enterprise activities, which is made up of our bookstore, cafeteria, some other small business units, will have a very small decrease, about $35,000. The total budget is $1,253,694. And our internal service activity is made up of our health insurance, some self-funded insurance programs. We are looking at an increase due to our expected insurance premiums of $706,000 for a total budget of $6,461,500. Looking at our general fund, our planned uses and transfers for our general fund, which is our main core business for our mission of our college, is to have a fund balance of $10,159,593 at the end of FY21, the year we're in currently. We do have some unspent revenue excess of $860,000, which will be covered by our continued transfer of bookstore operations of $120,000. Other sources, which is made up of our COVID funds and some of our OPEB trust funds of $740,000, bring us to a balanced budget for FY22, and remaining fund equity will stay at $10,159,593. Our capital plan is broken into several categories. We have academic and student services budgets of approximately $766,000 for our FY22 capital budget. That is a decrease from the 21 year, and A lot of our programs, we're looking at distance learning, and that is being funded by our COVID grant funds. Construction and remodeling, it'll be around $1,444,000 in FY22, approximately the same as last year. Technology and improvements of $2,212,000, a slight increase over the FY21 year. Our facilities, ground and maintenance equipment, a small increase, we'll be at $501,575. And our other capital projects, which are mainly made up of grant funds, $142,945. The large decrease in academics and student services is really related to our a couple of large software purchases and our simulation center that was put into operations in our current year of fiscal year 2021. Our long-term financing plan, you'll see we're borrowing $5 million in the upcoming year for this budget year. And if you concentrate on the column for repayment, we'll have a steady repayment plan of approximately $6,600,000 over the next 10 years. And that is our plan. You will see a slight increase, but a very small increase in the property taxes because of this. And it being steady, our property taxes should remain fairly constant throughout the next 10 years. To highlight our budget, you'll see on the screen that our FY21-22 estimate, we have our property values on the screen. We have approximately $14,835 million of equalized value of properties in our district of 97 municipalities. Our operational projected tax levy is 50.9 cents. Our debt service will be 44.8 cents with a total mill rate of 0.95726 or 95.73 cents for a $100,000 house. Giving us a total levy on the very bottom. If you look at the very bottom of that chart, it says total all funds of $14,201,000 compared to our 2021 budget of $13,960, or a slight increase of about $300,000. We assumed a 1% property value increase. Over the past few years, it is much higher than that. Our mill rate will increase $1.24 from 295.73 cents per $1,000 value of a house. That will be about $1.24 increase to a homeowner with a $100,000 home over the next year. Sure. I think I should go through it first. Then I'll ask for questions afterwards. So for a $100,000 home, the estimated tax increase will be $1.24, less than a dozen eggs for the full year. This next slide shows our graphs of our tax levies, and you can see that over the last 2 years, they have really flattened out. Our operational levy is going up a little bit. Our debt service is flattening out. That's the first column under the tax levy amounts. So our operational levy will be a little over $7 million, and our debt service a little over $6.5 million. If you look at the mill rates, we're at 50 cents, 51 cents for the mill rate on our operational, and about 44 cents on our debt service. And our combined rate will be a little under $1, about 95.73 cents. So with this plan, Mid-State will continue to be a financially viable, ready and able to support its communities, businesses, and citizens, and partners by being the first choice of education and transforming the lives of their students we serve. Any questions?
Greg, I have a question.
Sure.
If you go back to the first slide, please. Sorry, the next one, first slide of your presentation. I thought you said, no, maybe it wasn't this one. Go to the next one. No, it was in relation to, go back. Okay, it was in relation to the money from the Fed.
COVID, yes.
I thought you said we weren't going to get any, but I thought I saw some in there that the special revenue aidable, that's the 1 million, that's COVID funding.
That is correct. That was the amount that we had we had received this year in FY21. We recognize and increase our budget at the time of expenditure. So we do not budget for those up front because we don't know exactly where they're at or how much they are. And this is a standard practice for all technical college systems where they recognize the budget and the expenditure at the same time of when the expense occurs.
Okay, but I'm confused because you've got $1 million in the budget. I mean, it's showing $1,051,000 in the budget, but you're saying it's not being budgeted.
That's for our contracted services, our dual credit. That also covers those type of activities. The special revenue aidable also includes our contracted services, workforce and economic development, as well as our dual credit revenue and expenditures that we have on a yearly basis with the K-12 partners.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Rick.
Could you go to the equalized value slide? Yeah, that one. So would I be correct in to assume that the difference in the numbers between the Baird and what you have there is a timing issue
Yes,
or something?
that is correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Ours are back from March. Theirs are a little bit closer, and they're both projections.
Okay.
Based on property values, the tax rate could actually decrease if the valuation is higher than 1%. And so we used a 1% increase in our valuation. They could actually be a higher than 1% increase in valuations of our properties, and then our value will go down. And I'm not too sure. On Baird, there's an estimate as well.
Yeah, they're showing a 7% increase. That's why I was surprised.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Are there any members of the public that would like to provide comment or testimony? Okay, can I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Go second.
Okay, we're going to call to order the Monday, June 21st, 2021 District Board of Directors meeting. Can I get a roll call?
Betty Bruski-Nellen.
Yes.
Kristen Kraft.
Here.
Craig Gerlach. Richard Murray.
Present.
Linnea Miller. Here. Gordon Shalla.
Here.
Carla Sparks.
Here.
This June 21st, 2021 meeting of the Mid-State Technical College District Board of Directors and all other meetings of the board and or its committees is open to the public in compliance with state statutes. Notice of this meeting has been sent to the news media and designated persons in an attempt to make the citizens of the Mid-State Technical College District aware of the place, time, and agenda of this meeting. Open forum. The open forum is at the option of the board chairperson, and the ground rules have been established to ensure the orderly conduct of business. This is a meeting of the district board open to the public and not a public hearing. Persons who wish to address the district board may make a statement as long as it pertains to a specific agenda item. Individuals should not expect to engage in discussion with the members of the district board. The district board chairperson may or may not respond to statements made. Do we have anybody here to address the board? Okay, action on the May 17th, 2021 board meeting minutes. Can I get approval on the May 17th?
This is Betty. Go ahead. I approve the minutes from May 17th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, can I have an approval on the consent agenda items, including payment of bills, of payroll, contracted services, and procurement of goods and services? Is there a motion and a second?
Also move.
Second, Chuck.
Any discussion? Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Betty Bruski-Nellen.
Yes.
Kristen Kraft.
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Gordon Scalo,
Yes.
Charles Fargo.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting tonight. Quite a few things we have to discuss tonight. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the Summer Board Association meeting, which is going to be held right here in our district, which is kind of exciting. Thank you, Betty, for that.
No, Shelley, thank you, Shelley.
Thanks for asking.
It's going to mostly be held in Stevens Point at the Holiday Inn, July 15th through the 17th. The main focus of topics is going to be presidential evaluations. We're going to have a tour of the healthcare simulation, which is going to be right here at the Aspirus. I believe we'll be doing bus trips over there. It would be really nice if the whole entire board could attend that. It's kind of fun meeting all the other board members from around the state. So if you can make it, please let Angie know so she can make arrangements. Friday night, we'll be having a banquet and we will be honoring our very own Wayne Bushman. We'll be celebrating his
State recognition.
state recognition from last year for being a distinguished alumni. So that'll be really nice. We do a really nice banquet dinner at the Holiday Inn for him. I believe the seminars will be right at the Holiday Inn during the day on Friday. And then we also have something on Saturday morning there,
Yes, district meeting and
district meeting.
directors meeting in the afternoon.
So there will be more coming out this month, correct,
Yes,
Betty?
registration is open and it'll be all on the WTCS or our DBA website.
So if anybody's interested, please let Angie know and she'll make arrangements. So I'll be doing it. The CT Leadership Congress will be held, CT Leadership Congress will be held in San Diego, October 13th through the 16th. That's going to be focusing on advancing diversity, equity, inclusion. Equity and inclusion. Betty, Lene, and Rick plan to attend. Midstate plans to submit a proposal for consideration. Please let Angie know if you're interested in attending as well or have any questions about it. And that's in October. Okay, so the board advance. A second survey was sent out to the board members. It looks like we have a date. We're going to go with September 28th. Out of everybody who responded, that's where we have the majority of people that can attend.
What would be the time on that thing?
I don't know, have we set a time on that, Angie?
Be looking at about 8:30.
So 8:30 to 1:30. So if everybody could mark their calendars, by then hopefully we'll have 2 more board members to join us and we'll kind of make that part of their, when they get elected in and let them know
Is it-
that that'll be a board advance.
Is there a location for that yet?
Probably Wisconsin.
If the board has a preference.
Does the board have a preference where it's going to be?
Right here.
Wisconsin Rapids?
Oh, yes.
Be at any of our 4 campuses, whatever you.
Does anybody have a preference? Chuck, do you have a preference?
Nope.
No. I said we just have it Wisconsin Rapids, it's nice and centrally located. So if everybody could just kind of mark their calendars, that was kind of the place where the majority of everybody could be that responded to it. And we do have one person who could do it virtually, so we're going to make it a virtual option as well. So for that one person. So I'm not really sure exactly what the topics are going to be yet. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Our July board meeting is going to be on Monday, July 12th. So that's going to be a unique meeting. July 12th is our organizational meeting, and there's technically only going to be 5 board members. Gordy and Craig technically are not board members for the July meeting because they're going to be certified for the August meeting. So we need to have all 5 more board members here in July to have a quorum.
How early can we meet?
Okay, so we have met as early as 3:30 in the past,
Because I have a 7 o'clock.
because you have a 7 o'clock. So I guess that's the question.
I can't be here till 4:30.
But technically, our July meetings have been pretty quick in the past because it is an early meeting. And I believe we don't have a lot of the information ready yet.
Yes.
So I guess the gist of it is that we need to have all 5 of us here. Otherwise, we can't have a meeting. We can't approve a lot of the stuff we have to approve. So is anybody going to have a conflict out of us 5 for the July meeting?
What time are we?
4:30.
Time we're starting?
4:30?
4:30, 6:30 would be just fine.
So 4:30 to 6:30. Chuck, will you be able to make the July meeting?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So we're good for July. So then, as I'm understanding it, Craig and Gordy do not have to come to the July meeting.
Correct.
Correct.
Certainly welcome to attend, would not be acting as voting members.
So with that being an organizational meeting, typically we go ahead and we decide what our committee structures are going to be. Who's going to be on finance, academic, and human resources. So I guess what I'm wondering is, do we want to do that in the July meeting? Or do we want to wait until the August meeting when we have everybody at our meeting? Do we want to push that organizational part off until we have Gordy and Craig with us? So we're all together to decide what committees we want everybody on.
Yes.
Think so, yes.
Okay. And then at that point, we all also want to kind of decide, do we want to go back to the way it was, where we're coming back at 4:30 to have our individual committee meetings instead of having the LTs do everything for us. And so we're kind of part of those meetings and
Yes,
learning everything.
yes. I agree. I
Chuck,
missed that part.
Chuck and Gordy. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go back in August. We're gonna come back to deciding what committees we're gonna be on. And then we're gonna come back to doing our individual committee meetings at 4:30. And then going back to our regular meetings at 5 o'clock, like we had before. That works for everybody?
Yes.
Yep, okay, good. See if I hit on everything. I think I got everything right. Okay.
Next meeting.
Next meeting date is July 12th. Yes, I did. Okay, great. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shelley, Dr. Shelley Mondike for the President's Report.
Thank you, Kristen. Just a few things for us under each of the categories.
Yes, oh, thank you very much. So thank you, Kristen. We'll try that again now that my mic is on. Have just a few things to share with all of you under each of those categories of campus activities and community involvement. So campus activities, you should have received an invitation for July 22nd, which is our employee picnic, which is our mid-state night at the Rafters. If you are able to attend with your spouse or your families, let Angie know. I can tell you that it looks like we are going to have over 300 of our staff again coming to that. So wow, what a great event. But we wanted to make sure that we passed it on to you, realizing you are very busy people, but we wanted to extend the offer. Also from a district board membership standpoint, and Kristen kind of talked a little bit about kind of where we're at, where we're going to be down a couple of board members for a month and so forth. Right now, we are in the time period where people can apply for our district board. So just wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that. We currently have 2 positions that are available, and the time period really began on June 17th, and it will go until I think next Thursday, which is July 1st. So know that we have had people that have contacted Angie, and Angie has been able to answer their questions. So we are hopeful that we will have some people that will be applying for the 2 positions that we have. So that is a good thing. We recently also held our K through 12 administrators breakfast, and that was just last week on June 16th. And it was very well attended again. I really need to give kudos to our K through 12 team who continues to look at how to keep partnering with our K through 12s, because last year was really a challenging year, if you think about it, because they didn't have students on their sites. So from a dual credit standpoint, trying to bring those students to our campuses really was not able to be done and so forth. And they did elect with this K through 12 administrators breakfast. They had it virtually just because we're kind of in this time period yet. But for me, I think one of the most beneficial parts was hearing what the school districts are planning for in the fall. And I really heard that they want to bring their students back to campus. And that's really what they're planning for. And when Mandy had asked the question, well, what about field trips? Do you think you're going to be able to bring people to our campuses? They are hopeful. I don't think they could give us 100% guarantee, but we really are starting our K through 12 planning for this coming year, bringing back some of those big events that were so popular in the past. So planning, that's what it's about. From a community involvement, I wanted to make sure that you were aware, if you have not heard, that the Wood County Board approved the $58 million to build a new jail and a new sheriff's office. You may have also heard kind of the mid-state name, because part of what they're going to do is they're going to have multiple classrooms that will have storage and technology capabilities. And that's exciting for us because the room that we currently are using is very small. And so it's just going to allow us to be able to serve more inmates and be able to do the high school diploma equivalency training that we do, or the certification for them to do the test, and then also the career awareness and all the other things that we do. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. We are really part of that project and really excited about that. Also last week, I attended along with some mid-state staff, the Portage County Business Council annual dinner. And I need to tell you that I think, we did a great job of representing the college. There was a lot of people we could talk to. They had about 300 people that attended the dinner. So I was a little surprised that it was that well attended just in the time right now that we're in. But Craig is not with us, but I wanted to give him kudos and let you all know that he received a really big award at this dinner. He received what they call the President's Award, and that came right from the Portage County Business Council, and very well deserved. He got up, and I think he had probably a speech that was written, but definitely went rogue on it, and it was just really, really good. So just a congratulations to Craig. So if you see him, please give him some kudos on that. Very well deserved on his part. For the WTCS update, so we had our state board meeting was May 18th. And on that agenda, it was really kind of year-end activities, the WTCS graduate report, which Mandy is going to be sharing with you at a future meeting. It was also really the end of my role of providing the WTCS President's Association reports, which I'll be honest with you, that's okay with me. It's been a long few months. The next state board meeting is in July, and Nicolay is hosting that state board meeting. They have not opened it up for the college personnel to go to that meeting. It's really just for the state board members themselves will be able to go to Nicolay in person, but everybody else will still have that virtual option. As far as the WTCS Budget Ask, I thought I would kind of give you an update, because if you've been listening to the news, the Joint Finance Committee last week did bring forward the state budget that they drafted. So if you may recall kind of what happens, the governor puts out his budget, the Joint Finance can either kind of accept that budget or they kind of start fresh, and they elected to start fresh. But I'm very happy to say that the WTCS is positioned well. And as you know, being on the executive committee and things, it's something that we work really hard on. So you may ask that we were asking for new funding, new dollars, and we were asking for $24 million. And I can tell you that the Joint Finance right now has in their budget that we would receive $9 million. But if we would actually get the $9 million, that would be one of the largest increases the WTCS has ever received. So Governor Walker had put in a bigger increase, but was not able to get it for us. So if we could actually get the 9 million, that would be a really big deal for us. So we are very pleased with that, because when you think of the COVID money, and there's a lot of talk about the extra money coming into the colleges, we were concerned that maybe there would not be any new money for us. So it's just a great testament to what the Joint Finance thinks about all of us. And I wanted to read a paragraph that is where you are all called out. It says, "Thank you to the college presidents," and this is from the Joint Finance Committee. "Thank you to the college presidents, leadership teams, and trustees for your continuous engagement with your local legislators and engaging in advocacy in the Capitol throughout this legislative session so far. In a difficult environment, we have collectively delivered a strong message about the value that technical colleges bring to the state, and legislators continue to respond positively." So a testament to all the good work I think that we do. So the Joint Finance definitely thought we were worthy of getting additional dollars. When you think about the other WTCS ask was around transfer, the governor had not taken that up in the budget, and Joint Finance has not taken that up in their budget. So you may recall we've had some legislators that have put together a separate bill, and there has been a hearing on transfer. Assembly, in the assembly has not went for vote yet on that. We are hoping that they will do that at least by early fall. We believe we have the votes there. We just don't know if we have it in the Senate, but we'll continue to talk about transfer. As far as student financial aid, we had asked for new dollars to really help our students. Unfortunately, we did not get any additional money for students in the Joint Finance budget, but they did do an allocation, in case you hear about this, that does have some outcome for us from the standpoint that they have created an allocation of $5 million for a nurse educator loan program. And these would be for students who are in doctoral nursing programs. They need to have that type of degree to be able to teach in our nursing programs. And there's a shortage of nursing educators. So this is their attempt to be able to put out a loan program for nurses who want to be an educator to be able to use that as a way. Now, if someone does get the money for that, it would be that they have to commit to teaching either in the WTCS or in the UW system or at a private college for 3 years. But it's nice to see that they're trying to address the shortage that we have. I think Karen will tell you, nursing faculty are always difficult to find. We did have 2 openings for nurse faculty, and I was mentioned to Linda when we were talking, we were able to hire 2 people. So we've been very fortunate that we haven't had the shortage directly. We also asked, you may recall, for the state office, they wanted $50,000 for a firefighter software because the software was really just needed to be updated, and that was put into the budget from Joint Finance. So overall, very pleased. New dollars for us. They're still talking about transfer. They at least put some dollars in for loans that will benefit us. So again, and we got the software money that we needed. Now again, what will happen, as you probably know, it will go through the legislature now, where both will approve, and then it will go to the governor's desk, where he has the line item veto ability. But we're just glad to have that presence. You maybe have heard from the UW standpoint, the tuition freeze is off. There's also some additional money there. There's a lot of additional money for the K through 12. So we all, from an educational standpoint, we all fared well. So please know that. From a WTCS President Association activity, we also had our final 2 meetings of the year. We also met on May 18th after the state board meeting, and then June 10th. We really concluded the year with diversity, equity, and inclusion update. We welcomed our new presidents who are coming on board, because we will have 4 of them if we don't include the Waukesha president. And we also said goodbye to the retiring president. So we really took some time to do that. And then I also was able to hand the gavel over to the incoming president that will be the chair, and that will be Roger Stanford over at Western. So I will still serve on the executive committee for 1 more year as past chair, but my leadership as far as doing the President's Association and state board and district board update did end this month. So it's been a busy year, So any questions? Otherwise, that would conclude my report.
But just one comment that I told Shelley was Britt was very popular at the Cranberry Blossom Fest Parade on Sunday. So he got a lot of hugs from the kids, at least around us, so.
Yes, and that's what we want, that's what we want. And we're excited at the Rafters game. That will be when Grit will meet Roscoe. And it's getting a lot of just good buzz, and, that helps our college from an identity standpoint. And, those are the things that they're a lot of work, but you smile because you can just see maybe the indirect and the direct benefit. You don't always know that little, fourth grader that's hugging Grit, what decisions, they're going to make, but you've got to know that they at least know what mid-state is, and that's where that Grit is. And that's what we're trying to do. So it to be a fun place as well. So thanks for your comment, Rick.
Okay, well, then we'll move on to our committee reports. We got the Finance and Infrastructure Report with Charles Spargo.
Thank you. We've already reviewed our consent agenda items, so we'll move on to the Treasurer's Report. Normally, I give you the engineer's digested version of the financials. I was unable to do my usual due diligence this month, so I'm going to provide you the summary that Greg and his staff always provide for me, and I appreciate that. The budget modifications for the month are on page 19. The modifications for May facilitate changes related to grants, operational, capital budgets, and COVID funding related budgets. These changes will increase the overall revenue budget by $383,418 and expense budgets by $585,925. The fund balance change is due to FY22 projects needing payments and other or purchase orders in May to guarantee product or services are available when needed. On page 20 is the budgeted revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund equity based on the budget modifications to date that were on the page 19. Accrued revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund equity are on page 21. They portray the interim changes in fund equity at month end. For May year to date, accrued expenses exceeded accrued revenues by $1 million, reflecting differences due to timing of revenue inflows and expenditure outflows. Detailed by fund is reflected in the report. Revenues in May total $1.2 million, the majority of which was $800,000 recognized from other college sources. To date, 93% of the current revenue budget has been recognized or realized. Expenditures for May total $3.5 million, the largest outlays for monthly salary and wages, employee benefits, and $500,000 for current expenses. To date, 84.3% of the current expenditure budget has been encumbered or spent. Current year-to-date changes from prior year budget align with projected budget variances for fiscal year 21. Combined balance sheet on page 22 shows that we've got a cash and investment balance of $22.9 million for month end, and that's very good. Any questions on the Treasurer's Report? Remind me, do we need a motion to accept this?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
Chuck, we do not.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the resolution awarding a sale of up to $4 million in general obligation promissory notes, series 2021A, that's in Exhibit F. And Greg Bruckbauer and perhaps representative from Robert Baird will help us with this.
In person, but
Thank you, Chuck. So tonight I have the pleasure of introducing John Meehan. He's been with Baird. I've been at the college for 15 years now, and John has been here all along, probably a lot longer than that. But he's our finance person for the bond sale that we are looking for a resolution to approve this evening.
Great. Good evening. I thought you were going to say I've been at Baird twice as long as you've been here or something, but yeah. Anyway, good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be before the board this evening. There's a handout which I'll walk through talking about today's sale and make just a couple of comparisons to the sale we did last fall. I think it was so long ago. The under page 2, the note issue itself, as far as the description, it's a $4 million general obligation note. The date settlement is July 22nd, sort of an intentional date because as you were talking before about the magical July 12th, the second Monday of July when every technical college meets. I know it very well. I've got 4 meetings that day, so it goes from 8 till 7. So anyway, there's a lot of different meetings going on. And we picked the 22nd. By then, you would have selected a new officers, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the maturities of the debt is from 2025 through 2031, and that's intentional. Chuck, it goes back to a discussion we had last year about how we had to split that $5.5 million issue, where we had to do $1 million issue, not $4 million, it was something like that. And so we structured, this is probably a little too in the weeds, but I think you'll want to follow this discussion, that we structured that $1 million is will be done later in the year and is upfront in the structure. And that's why we have 25 through 31 for the maturities. So the other one slides in for a combined level debt service. That's the thought process behind it. It also, by going from 25 to 31, and March 1 is when you pay your principal now. And you pay interest September and March. And so we have a first interest payment this September. You do have cash for that payment. With all these issues that are taking place, we're seeing premium generated because the yields are so low, so darn low, that we're selling 10-year debt at a coupon rate of 2%, top to bottom. And the true interest cost on this is a 126. So with that kind of low interest rate, you have to have the coupons because people are expecting rates to go up. And therefore they want some protection. Well, that generates premium, which into the math means that the true interest cost is at a 126. And if you look back to the October, I think, let's say, you'd say, wow, that's, 50 basis points higher. Right, because the October sale was 22, 23, and 24. Those are real short maturities. This is a 10-year maturity. You go farther out, the rates are higher. The next page, we have that plan, that financing plan, which takes into account not only your existing debt on the left side of the page in very small type, but also the $4 million issue, which you're considering today, and that preliminary structure for the $1 million piece. We would love not to have to do a $1 million issue. We'd love just to have it all combined into one. But we're all under the statutory requirements as to how much you can borrow on a remodeling, I should say, how much you can borrow for a remodeling project at any one time. So we structure this so that when you come across to the far right side, it's basically level debt service. As a reminder, and I'll catch up with Greg later on about it, your debt service is always on a calendar year basis. Your debt service levy is always on a calendar year basis. Because in Wisconsin, you're required to levy, collect, and have the funds available so the holders know that in March they get paid and in September they get paid, not the other way around. So the debt service is always on a calendar year basis. You reflect it in your budget on a budget year basis, but levy is really on a calendar year basis. And we're really heading to we're going to have a level debt service levy off into the future, which I think is a desirable approach. It also takes into account a projection, which you're not considering tonight, you don't have to worry about tonight, but it does look at it and say, and you're going to continue to borrow like this forever. So the overall financing plan is working out very nicely. At the very back of the report, which you can look through at your leisure, is more of a detailed analysis by Moody's Investor Service. You're confirmed that you're AA1. Wisconsin technical colleges are highly rated. Okay, AAA is the highest, AA1's the next, and then we have some AA2s. So that's the range in Wisconsin. The language that talks about what can have an upgrade, what can have a downgrade, is basically the same language as it was in October. And I expect it'll be the same language when we come back and do the $1 million sale. Not much different, the report. I would say that the board, administration, finance has done a great job, put you in that position to stay at the AA1 level. What I've covered tonight has been put in the resolution, which was prepared by your bond counsel. I know earlier they had shared draft resolutions, but that was before today. So you had draft resolutions in your system, and now we have the final resolution, which sets the levy for the debt service for the life of the issue. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution as shown in Exhibit F in our board book.
I'd second that motion.
All those in
Yeah.
favor signify, or do we need a roll call vote?
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kraft,
Yes.
Richard Vernon,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank you
John.
very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, and next on the agenda, we have the 2021-2022 budget adoption in Exhibit G, and Greg again will lead us through that discussion.
So I believe in your packet, you received our information on our FY22 budget adoption. We are looking to have a budget of about $55 million combined for all funds for the college. We previously reviewed this at the special Finance and Audit Committee meeting in May. And then again, we had our board presentation in May, at the May board meeting. And tonight we're asking for official adoption of our FY22 budget. With the review of the last two meetings, if I have any questions I can answer. We also had a public hearing this evening in accordance with the state statute. So if there's any questions from the board, I'd be happy to entertain those now.
Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 2021-2022 budget as shown in Exhibit G.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kraft,
Yes.
Richard Vernon,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes. Thank you, Greg. And as far as I'm aware, there aren't any other informational items to share with the board.
That is correct. Thank you.
That would conclude our Financial and Infrastructure Committee report.
Thank you, Chuck. We'll go ahead and move on to the Academic and Student Services Committee with Betty Brusky Malik.
Thank you. We have Dr. Mandy Lang here in Portage, and I believe we have to do her presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Betty. So we recently went out for RFP for a project for our Salesforce Customer Relationship Management System. And I'd like to share a little bit about that project and the results of the RFP. Our plan is to use some COVID funds to fund this project. So there are three key elements. The first is really supporting increased communication to our students. Communication has been particularly challenging with students during this time of COVID, and especially with them being not on campus as much. So these enhancements would really allow us to do more targeted and personalized communication to them. We've also used Salesforce for some key student COVID tracking. So some forms that they've had to fill out and we need to track throughout the year on what they're doing. And there were also some additional things that we wanted to track in the system, but we actually weren't able to do because of how our current system is set up. So we ended up doing that manually. Then the second enhancement will really provide better tracking of students from really across the life cycle. So from inquiry all the way to the time that they graduate and then become a part of our alumni association. And this will allow us to increase our recruitment efforts, our persistence, and retention efforts, and as well as advancing our alumni association through the foundation. And then finally, we currently have two instances or two kind of separate instances of Salesforce. One that's particularly used for students and mainly applicants to our programs. And then one that's used by workforce the foundation alumni, and academics. And this project would really increase efficiency by combining those two instances. And really just combining into one that we would then be able to track across the entire life cycle of the student, as well as then increased efficiency for one person or our staff to kind of manage one instance as well. So we used 5 criteria to evaluate the proposals, and you do have a document in front of you that includes the 3 proposals that we received with the cost associated with each one. The 5 criteria that we used were features of the system, cost, experience and references, a project plan timeline, and then a presentation demonstration that they did. So the 3 proposals were evaluated based on those criteria, and the cost ranged, as you can see, from $318,625 to over $1.4 million.
Can you comment on that?
Yeah. It's a high bidder. That's really it. When evaluating the systems or the proposals, they were similar in functions, just very different in cost. We have received proposals from this company before that were also very high priced in comparison to other proposers as well. And we've gone in the past with lower cost proposers, and at this point we've been happy with them. So we don't feel like we're missing anything. And actually what in the end, we are not requesting to approve that one. We are requesting to approve to award the contract to Foundation Partners in the amount of $318,625. But yeah, it was a bit of a price tag shock to us to receive that one, just because of the difference across the board.
And Foundation Partners is equitable and
They are. We have worked with them before,
good.
and have been very happy with them.
Then I would make the motion that, unless there's another question.
I got a question.
Okay.
Mandy, you said we were using Salesforce before. This new feature is going to be Salesforce. Are you saying that there are more than one company providing the same Salesforce software implementation?
So there's more than one company that kind of helps you build out what your Salesforce environment looks like. So there are a lot of different ways to go about it.
Okay, so it's not changing software, it's just adding additional features and integrating the 2 different packages together, and one company's bid came in much lower than the other. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Then I would so move to approve the proposal from and accept the Foundation Partners proposal in the amount of $318,625.
I'll second it.
Betty Brusky-Malik.
Yes.
Kristen Krass.
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes.
Linnea Miller.
Yes.
Gordon Shallow.
yes,
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sandy.
Thank you, Betty. Then we'll move on to the Human Resources and External Relations Committee with Linnea Miller.
We have one informational item. It is on the campaign sponsorship update by Dr. Bobby Damrow.
Thank you for the opportunity to provide this informational update on the Advanced Manufacturing, Engineering Technology and Apprenticeship Center. As you can see by the materials that were in your board packet, this center is moving right along. The funding for it, that is. Since your receipt of the board materials, we have received a sponsorship from Opaka Foundry for $125,000. The Wayne Bushman family has put in $500,000, and an additional $25,000 donation from Gamber Johnson, bringing their total investment to $125,000. Those were things that happened new this year. If you happen to be looking at the floor plan, Wapaka Foundry is going to sponsor half of the automation lab, which is in the bottom corner of the blueprint that you have in front of you. We're also right now looking for another sponsor to share that with them. So this brings the total raise to $4,843,500. So in addition to the $1.5 million that the college is putting into this project, we have raised $3,343,500 to date. What that encompasses is 34 funding partners and 2 out-of-district partners. 16 of the 24 rooms on that blueprint are spoken for, so we have 8 left. We are about exactly $156,500 shy of our $5 million milestone. And that $5 million milestone is important because once we hit 5 million, as we've talked before, we are going to embark on our public campaign. And what does that mean? That means that we're going to create strategies, campaign strategies, marketing strategies for different groups of people. So community groups, alumni groups, folks, smaller pockets of associations and community groups to kind of get us over the line. I can tell you that the path to 9 million is very strong. We've got a number of grants that are in the hopper, both at state and national levels. We have some large companies that we're working with. So just really excited because now getting close to that 5 million and going public really feels like it's a reality to us.
Bobby, can you just say that again? We raised how much?
Yeah, 3,343,500
That, I mean,
and some change.
I mean, in the times that we're in and what we've
Yeah.
had to do, and I just got to let that sink in a little bit because I know when I hear it, I just, and Linnea, you went there, you said,
Just
wow.
incredible. And
You know, I
in
just-
this day, what we're living through.
Yeah.
And in the time frame we've done it in, wow, just thank you.
We have some very, it's a strong project, and we've had some very, very good people in our district. So it's been a privilege for many of us that have been able to work on this. If we do happen to reach 5 million by June 30th, which obviously is next week, we were invited by, I know, 156,005. We're all playing lottery, but
We all got in your wallet.
yeah,
Take it
exactly.
away.
If we do that, Gamber Johnson is having their ribbon cutting for their new world headquarters on the 30th at 11 a.m. In the old Journs building, which is Gamber Johnson's new world headquarters. They have offered to basically pass the microphone to Shelley to give a surprise announcement in that we had reached the public campaign. Hence the reason why they raised the ante of their own bid, saying, hey, we want to help you close that gap. So, you know, I would have to say it's kind of a Hail Mary pass because we have a number of things, but I don't know if they're going to hit before June 30th. If they do, you will all be hearing from us with excitement and ask if your schedules permit to attend that ribbon cutting, which is going to take place between 11 and 1 on June 30th. If you recall, when we talked about the timeline, we had expected to go public in October. So that is still, we're ahead of schedule on that. But, you know, if we are able to get really ahead of schedule by the end of the month, that's what's taking place. We actually have some ideas if we don't go public on that date, and how we're going to handle that when we do go public. And it's going to be a wonderful event with all of our donors and you as well. So the timeline again, we're aiming to bring this project request to you, the board, for formal review and your approval to proceed in March of 2022. In order to do that, we have to have all of the commitments in for the $9 million. We aim to seek WTCS approval in July of 2022. So you can see there's a little gap there, and that's by design. We don't want to kind of box ourselves in. We've got a little bit of time to be flexible. And again, construction, latest we would want to start would be fall of 2022 so they can do winter work and then be ready for classes and move in August of 2023. We also wanted you to know that the college and the campaign managers, whom we meet with every other Monday morning at 7:30, are very aware of the volatility right now in the construction costs in that market. So we talk about that. And we remain right now really kind of tied at the hip with some of the professionals that we've been working with. We're watching the trending. We've heard 25 to 30% right now. Today, actually, there was one piece of information that came through that they're expecting construction costs to start going down. So we don't know where we're going to be at a year from now, but I just want to let you know that we recognize that. We're already looking at different approaches. If the trending continues and this, I call it construction inflation, is still up, what we would be doing is looking at a phased approach. And we know that we have some different opportunities perhaps to phase it, to maybe come back to you for additional money in 2023. If we can't finish it all, that gives us a little bit more time to fundraise as well. So we've got a lot of different options. Just know that we have contingencies that we are working on right now with the campaign chairs. One benefit that I wanted to share with you that has really brought the college a lot of advocacy is when we've been going out and we've been talking to people, we've had many of them come to say, gosh, we didn't know that. We're so glad we spent time with you. They may or may not be able to contribute to the project. Some of them can provide us with a letter of support, but maybe don't have the financial wherewithal. But we have had 4 companies so far include sponsor a scholar with their sponsorship donation to the project. We've had another basically agree to sponsoring our apprenticeships as part of their donation to the project. And we've had a number of them say, tell me more about your advisory committee. We'd like to, come in as a guest and see if that's the right fit for our company. So as we're kind of going through this whole process, the benefit that I don't think that I really realized was the importance of the relationships that we were going to build. So I'm really excited about that little piece. I do have our Dean of Advanced Manufacturing and Engineering Technology in the back of the room. Ryan, if you could stand up. Yay. Ryan is here tonight, and I just really would like to thank him for his continued work telling the story. Ryan has kind of been the person that we've had to divide and conquer. I think we had 6 or 7 meetings last week alone. So Ryan is kind of that person that sometimes he'll tag team with Shelley, sometimes he'll tag team with me, sometimes we'll all be there together. But when people say we can do this today, we say yes, we can. And we've kind of all know the roles, and we know the pitch, and we know the value of what we're doing. And Ryan, I just wanted to thank you. You've been kind of that steady in all of this for us. Additionally, I'd like to acknowledge our internal team that we meet every other Tuesday internally here. Jill Steckbauer from the foundation, Mickey from Grants, Mandy Mayak, Ben News, Deb Sensel, Whitney Escher, and of course, President Mondag. We continue to meet, and we support our campaign chairs, Wayne, Joe, and Scott. Finally, thank you to the board for your confidence. We aim to get this done. It's going to be something that our college, Central Wisconsin, our students, that we can all be proud of. So thank you for letting me kind of give you this brief. And then Ryan and I and Shelley are certainly here. If you have any questions on the project, we can take a moment or two and answer them.
Or what is NECA?
Yeah, IBEW NECA. So it's the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And then their construction, what do we call it?
Oh.
So they've kind of went in.
National Electric Contracting Association.
There you go. Thanks, Chuck. So they went in 50-50 on that space. Yeah.
To get 34 partners, we've had lots of meetings. But it really, a lot of virtual meetings, a lot of follow-ups. The Wisconsin potato and vegetable growers, last week we met with Scott Suter, the Wisconsin Paper Council. Friday we met with, even though we're closed, we met with the Wisconsin Cranberry Association. It's just really proud of the Mid-State team. Everybody, we said we're going to work this till the end, right? And the staff really has. They've dug in, and the benefits maybe the benefits that you had mentioned, Bobby, that maybe we didn't think about at the time. There are companies that have been in our district for a long time that they've never met with mid-state staff. So it has just been a great time to meet them and to make sure we're serving them. And like you said, the sponsor a scholar, and we really have not met any company, I can honestly say that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the two of you, but that have said this is like a bad thing. You know, I don't support this. I mean, this has been this is the right thing. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're taking the risk to try to do this. I mean, with this project, not only having local support, we're on the governor's top 50 list of capital projects. We have a congressional allocation out there that Ron Kind helped us with. So we're at the federal level, the state level. Our county board chairs, I have Al Haga and Lance Plimmel that have both expressed an interest of maybe some county board dollars coming our way. I mean, I'm just really proud. I think our mid-state team, we have it covered with the grants. So if all of the stars align, this really can happen, everybody. And I think, you know, once we go public, which I don't know if we'll make next week, it's a great opportunity that Gamber has allowed me to be able to be part of. But if it doesn't, we'll have another great event, you know, if it's 30 days or whatever it is. But I really hope that, you know, as you look at that blueprint and you see the logos, what great partners we have. It's not just been one partner giving us a whole lot of money. It's been a lot of people coming together, and that just shows the support for Mid-State and you as board members, all the good that you've been doing for years. Because if you didn't do all the good that you've been doing for years, being a new person coming in, I wouldn't be where I'm at. But I got to tell you that they are so excited when we meet with them. And I think, Ryan, I think there's been quite a few meetings that you and I have been part of that they comment about the passion that we have for this. And that definitely, and it speaks for it, you know, what this project is all about. And really, I think it's the phase 2 of our Stevens Point campus. That's what this is. So there's multiple ways that you can look at this, but this will position us for many years down the road. It's very exciting.
From an economic situation, if you listen to the radio, I've never heard as many advertisements for manufacturing positions on the radio that lately.
Yes, we're excited to connect with Tammy Baldwin because she had proposed the Frontier Bill, which advanced manufacturing is part of, and we want to let her know what we're doing, you know, around that. But apprenticeship, the big buzzword, I mean, it's just, this is the time. And when we talk about the timeline that we could be in it in 2023, it's just the perfect time for everything, because we believe everything will be back by that time. And allowing these companies to be able to have 2 years to be able to make their contribution, so they can make it this year and then that first quarter in 22, so we could have all that money before we would bring it to you. It's falling into place. Now, granted, a lot still has to happen, but I'm very pleased, I need to say. I'm very pleased. And that's why I made you repeat it again, Bobby. And I think I made you repeat it during board prep this morning, just because I think that even our state office, knowing that we have raised more than 3 million in the way that we have done it, a college of our size typically doesn't do that. You know, Madison College can do something and they get a $7 million donation. So Morna has actually told me that if we achieve this, this will be one of the, if not the largest private campaign type thing that the WTCS has ever done. Because usually it's that big donor that comes in with, you know, and when you think about it from a state and federal standpoint, and this is my pitch when I talk with them, everybody wants the perfect triangle. You want the public and you want the private and you want the government all to come together. And now we've got some leverage, because when I'm meeting with people, I can say how we have college board support to donate all of our nickels, right? The 1.5. But I can say now that we've doubled that, what we have privately raised. So now I can ask the state to say, can you give me 50% of what we raised, or can you match it, right? And the same thing. So when you look at it from a federal standpoint, everybody wants skin in the game. We've got skin in the game now. So we are a real project. So it's exciting. It really is. I mean, every time you go on the website and you see the barometer that we're almost at 5 million. I mean, it took going from 3.5 to this 4.8 or whatever. It's because you got to wait, right? People got to get back to you, and it's this back and forth. But What an exciting time to be here at Midstate. It really is.
I think we say we're shovel ready. So anyone that's wanting to get involved with us, it's going to happen. And we're ready.
$5 and change, we'll take it, everybody. I'm just telling you, we'll take it. But hopefully it makes you proud. You know, we've worked hard on this.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Chuck or Gordy?
Nope.
Thank you. That concludes our report.
Thank you, Linnea. Then we'll move on to discussion action items with Dr. Alex Lindbergh.
Yes, our wonderful campus dean from our Marshfield campus, Alex.
Mike will cue up the presentation here real quick. So good evening. As mentioned, I'm Alex Lindbergh. I'm the campus dean of the Marshfield campus. I'm very fortunate to serve in that role with that community over there. So my opportunity tonight is to really share the work that we've done with our 100-year celebration and you know, just share the way that we've been able to engage our community, students, and staff. So just a quick history to start us off here. So we really started with a physical presence in the Marshfield community in 1920 in what was then the Purdy building. We have a beautiful picture of it in its prime at that time. And then we moved to our current location in 1991 on West Fifth Street. So we began early last year and still in the midst of COVID. And we started an internal brainstorming committee, and we could have said, nope, with COVID, and we're not doing that. But we're like, no, we have a lot to celebrate. We have a lot to share. So with that committee, we developed a logo. We worked with our staff to develop a logo and then a landing page to really direct our community members to that. We had a wonderful opportunity to collaborate with Mackey, which is our local Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Marshfield. We did a press release, and then we shared our lanyard pins with staff and then our local stakeholders. So our kickoff was in June of 2020, which is the reverse parade that Mackey held for June Dairy Fest. And at that parade, there's a snapshot here of our parade card. And that card really showcased the multiple ways that community members, staff, and students could interact or experience Midstate over the next year as we celebrated 100 years. And again, those parade cards were provided, and then our mini millies that we're so proud of was given out to our community members, and we announced our gift basket giveaway. One item that I really wanted to highlight, this one hit near and dear to my heart, were our coffee days. So we went to 2 local coffee shops in the Marshfield community, and we surprised patrons with just buying them coffee. They did not know we were going to be there. They did not show up for free coffee. They were just coming in the door, and we provided them with a 100-year commemorative mug and said, hey, we're buying your coffee today. Thank you for being in this community and allowing us to serve you. So that one was really near and dear because I heard from people, hey, thank you for this. You know, in the midst of COVID, in the midst of everything, you're allowing us to celebrate and have some feel good this morning. So that was a really fun time for me. We also celebrated with our students by providing them a commemorative mug as well as a coin so they could go and get their own coffee at a local coffee shop. And of course, our Marshfield campus staff were also provided mugs. Our 100-year activity challenge, we just wrapped this up, and it was a lot of fun for our community students and staff to really engage with us, but go and get active even in a virtual environment. And this was free for them to participate, so they did not have to pay for event registration or anything like that. So we are really excited that we had 173 challengers complete almost 11,000 miles in the month of May. So that was just really fun to see the engagement on that level. And then as you can see, we had almost 100 community members. So we had students and staff as well, but almost 100 community members wanted to participate with us. And the picture there shows the swag bag that all of them received and are still receiving this next week. So then June Dairy Fest Reverse Parade, later in 2021, we unveiled our 100-year celebration ice cream, which I will talk more about here in a moment. But we provided that to parade goers, and that, again, another feel good as we move forward and transition post-COVID. That's what we heard from people is thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to celebrate. We provided them a gift basket or a gift bag that had some candy and some cow and Millie things. And then we were very excited to announce our parade submission. As you can see, a couple pictures there. Won first place for organization for all other parade goers. So we are really excited to receive that recognition from Mackey.
Yeah, and that just happened. That was
That just a couple weeks ago.
Heard that, yeah.
So I highlighted the big things that we were doing, but other notable activities include just updating and getting that logo out there on our big screens, on our staff signatures. WSAW reached out to us to do quite a few news segments. I was on the radio quite a bit to talk about the activities, our history, and moving forward. Hub City Times as well as Mackey continued to share the multiple events that we did and that we were hosting. So that was a lot of fun to work with them on that. We were in commemorative guides and just a few more pictures of the items that we were doing this last year. And we did receive special recognition from Mackey. They sent us a plaque celebrating our 100 years in business in the Marshfield community. So celebration wrap-up planning, we are looking forward to this in fall of 21. We want to be face-to-face. We really would like to celebrate one more time face-to-face with our community members. So we are working again with Mackey and our outreach team to bring folks back to campus and to really wrap up this celebration and give away that gift basket to one lucky recipient. So moving forward, so I keep saying we had a lot of fun. We did these things, but everything we did was absolutely intentional. We gathered names, we shared our experience. You can experience Midstate in hundreds of ways, and that this was just an opportunity for us to do that. So now with that excitement, with all of those activities, how do we continue to engage with Mackey? How do we continue to engage with those partners that we did this last year? And that's really on the radar moving forward. And we gained over 300 contacts through our gift basket giveaway and our parades and just multiple ways that they've been able to engage with us. So now we plan to engage those contacts on a regular basis to make sure that they know how they can continue to experience and participate with Midstate activities. With that, Mike will queue up a quick video. I just wanted to show one of the quick videos that we did, that WSAW did with us. It was a lot of fun. They were on campus for a couple hours to get some good information. And then Angie and I have a small surprise for you. So while Mike pulls that up, we'll get that surprise for you. Just 2 minutes.
A lot can change in 100 years, and that includes jobs in the workforce. Now, Midstate at Marshfield prides itself on being able to offer jobs to in-demand careers to its students, but it didn't always start out that way.
Midstate Technical College really had its presence start here in the Marshfield community back in 1920.
Back then, the school only offered one full-time medical assistant program. Today, they have more than 20 programs, including nursing, agriculture, and stainless steel welding.
We serve over 1,300 students annually.
And the students stick around.
I've been with Midstate since actually about 1995. I'm a 1991 graduate.
Bill Rosendick is the director of clinical education. He knows students want real-world skills.
And be in demand. Right now, our students, we've had 13 grads this year, and we have, I think, 9 of them have jobs already.
A lot of them will take jobs serving the central Wisconsin community.
We try to fill up the local needs. Like a few years ago, it was Stevens Point and Medford. Last year was Wausau.
While the pandemic was challenging, it didn't stop the school from educating the next generation of professionals.
It scared me at first, and then I kind of realized this is why I chose the path that I did, was for moments like this. I want to be there helping.
2020 was also a year of celebration for Midstate. To mark 100 years, the school held community coffee dates and city-wide activity challenges. They also paired with Melody Gardens to create a 100-year celebration ice cream flavor.
Not only was it developed by a graduate of Midstate, but the cranberry was locally sourced within our district.
It's a sweet treat, celebrating Mid-State's rich history.
We are thankful to be a part of the Marshfield community, and the 100-year celebration has just been an opportunity again to share our pride in the history and celebrate with the community members that we value so much.
Now you can sample that ice cream, and let me tell you the flavor. Cranberry cheesecake swirl at tomorrow's reverse parade.
Okay, so perfect timing. It's like we rehearsed that. So I've provided each of you just a sampling of our 100-year celebration ice cream. And this ice cream is a cranberry cheesecake swirl. Again, just to reiterate that we worked with an alumni and a local partner to create this specific to Midstate, and it is locally sourced. So these cranberries are locally sourced in our district. So we're really proud to work with our partners in that area. So I hope you enjoy it. And I welcome any questions. Thank you again for having me here tonight and sharing just a snapshot of our last year.
Chuck and Gordon, you're just gonna have to imagine.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that I'm not there. I wish you could save mine.
Very good.
You know, and I think Alex, are they thinking of trying to we're kind of put a name to it, and it will actually be able to be available in the Marshfield area at Melody Gardens, which will take it through the fall. And I know when I was meeting with the Cranberry Association on Friday, they were very pleased that we were using cranberries in our ice cream. So Alex, you and your team have done an absolute amazing job with this. You may recall that we celebrated the 5-year celebration of our Stevens Point downtown campus. And that really gave us, we wanted to look at what are all the dates, those historic years for all of our campuses. And then when we looked at it, it was like, oh my gosh, we can't miss the 100 years. So it's really been something we've done over the last couple of years. And I think Adams is coming next with something, if I recall, but it's been exciting. So it's been fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Okay. Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second that.
Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Kristen.
Yes.
Richard Jordan.
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
And we are back in open session. The board has reviewed the president's performance for the fiscal year 2021. We are pleased with her performance and the direction and leadership she provides to the college. We have voted to renew her contract. I am looking for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Seconds? Second. Any roll call vote? Hey, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.